Here's the paradox. Women don't want you to fully understand the second you detach, the second you stop over-investing, stop chasing, stop letting her emotions dictate your world, you become irresistible. It doesn't make sense on the surface. You'd think that giving her more love, more time, more energy would make her want you more, but the opposite is true. The less you need her, the more she feels pulled toward you. Detachment, when done right, is magnetic in ways words and flowers could never compete with. Detachment works because it flips the script. Most men are predictable. They love harder when she pulls away. They explain themselves when she criticizes. They chase when she grows cold. That predictability kills mystery, but a detached man isn't predictable. He doesn't dance to her emotional rhythm. He doesn't give her the reactions she expects. That unpredictability forces her to pay attention, and attention, in psychology, is the seed of attraction. Women are wired to crave challenge, not chaos, not cruelty, challenge. They want to feel they're earning your attention, not that it's guaranteed. A man who's overly attached is easy. He hands over his love whether she deserves it or not. But a detached man, he makes her work. She has to step up, invest, and prove herself if she wants his energy. That challenge reactivates the chase instinct inside her, and nothing drives attraction more than the feeling of earning something valuable. Detachment also projects strength. A man who can detach is a man who isn't enslaved by his emotions. He can love without losing himself. He can desire without obsessing. That composure radiates power. Women may not say it directly, but they crave a man who can remain centered no matter what storm she brings. Detachment tells her, without words, I control myself. I don't need you to validate me. That kind of energy is irresistible because it's so rare. Another reason detachment works is because it triggers imagination. When you stop explaining, stop over-communicating, stop laying your heart on the table, she's forced to wonder, what is he thinking? What is he feeling? Does he even care? That curiosity is powerful. Curiosity becomes obsession, and obsession is what keeps you in her head long after you've left the room. The man who detaches becomes irresistible because he stops feeding her ego. Most women walk through life surrounded by men desperate for their validation. Compliments, likes, stares, and constant pursuit inflate her sense of value. But when she meets a man who can walk away, who doesn't collapse in her silence, who doesn't beg for her love, she's shocked. Her ego takes a hit. And in that hit, she feels something she hasn't felt in years, respect. Detachment creates contrast. A man who clings feels heavy. His energy suffocates. But a man who detaches feels light, free, unbothered. Women want to breathe in that lightness. They want to taste the freedom of a man who doesn't demand, doesn't cling, doesn't drown them with emotion. That contrast makes him irresistible because he's not competing with every other needy man. He's offering something completely different, space. Another reason detachment works is because it forces polarity. Masculine energy thrives in independence, purpose, and direction. Feminine energy thrives in connection, emotion, and pursuit. When a man detaches, he locks into his masculine polarity. He's no longer orbiting around her feelings, he's focused on his mission. That polarity pulls her deeper into her feminine, making her crave his attention even more. The more he detaches into his mission, the more she attaches to him. Detachment also protects mystery. When a man loves without restraint, he often overshares. He tells her everything he's thinking, everything he fears, everything he dreams. At first, it feels intimate, but over time, it kills the unknown. Detachment, however, preserves mystery. You give her enough to feel close, but never so much that she feels she's mapped every corner of your soul. That mystery is intoxicating. It keeps her chasing, because she never feels she fully has you. The man who detaches is irresistible because he proves abundance. He shows through his silence that he has options, a life, and a world that doesn't revolve around one woman. That aura of abundance makes her fight harder for his attention. Women are drawn to men who are wanted, admired, and respected by others. Detachment communicates, I don't need you because my life is already full, and that fullness makes her desperate to be part of it. Another brutal truth is that detachment creates fear, not cruelty, not manipulation, fear of loss. When you detach, she feels the possibility of losing you. And loss is a stronger motivator than gain. She may not admit it, but when you stop texting first, stop reacting emotionally, stop chasing, she feels panic inside. Am I losing him? That panic pulls her back harder than any sweet words ever could. Detachment also exposes her reality. When you stop overgiving, you see what she does. If she steps up, invests more, and meets you halfway, she proves she's genuinely interested. If she pulls away further, she reveals she never valued you in the first place. Either way, detachment clarifies the truth. And truth is attractive because it proves you're not a man lost in illusions. The man who detaches is irresistible because he demonstrates control over one of the hardest instincts, the need for validation. Most men are slaves to female approval. They bend their behavior, change their words, and compromise their standards just to avoid rejection. But the detached man is free. He doesn't beg, he doesn't compromise, he doesn't bend. That level of freedom is magnetic because it communicates self-respect at the deepest level. Detachment also triggers pursuit. Women are naturally wired to test. They want to see if they can get you to bend, if they can pull you into their orbit. But when you detach, those tests fail. She doesn't win. That failure flips the chase. Suddenly, she's the one strategizing, overthinking, trying to win your attention. You stop being the pursuer and become the prize. And nothing is more irresistible to a woman than the chase. The man who detaches becomes irresistible because he embodies calmness. Emotional chaos is everywhere. Most men are reactive, angry when she's distant, desperate when she's cold, defensive when she criticizes. But detachment is calm. It's non-reactive. It's unbothered. That calmness feels like safety to her. She may create storms, but your detachment is the eye of the storm. That calmness makes her want to stay close because it's rare in a world full of weak men. Detachment is also addictive. The more she tries to pull emotions from you and fails, the more obsessed she becomes. It's like a puzzle she can't solve. Every unanswered question, every calm silence, every refusal to over-explain creates hooks in her mind. She keeps returning, not because you gave her everything, but because you didn't. You left gaps, and those gaps pull her in harder than any attention ever could. The detached man is irresistible because he radiates independence. He doesn't text all day. He doesn't rearrange his life for her. He doesn't cancel his mission to appease her moods. He stays locked on his goals, his vision, his path. That independence is magnetic because women don't truly want to be your whole world. They want to orbit a man whose world is already strong, thriving, and unstoppable. Detachment proves you're that man. Another reason is that detachment destroys neediness. Neediness is the biggest killer of attraction. When you detach, you show you're not dependent on her response, her affection, or her validation. You want her, but you don't need her. That difference is everything, because women don't fall in love with men they feel responsible for. They fall in love with men they admire, and admiration is born from independence, not dependence. Detachment also resets power. If she ever thought she had control, that she could pull strings, push buttons, and dictate your emotions, detachment rips that illusion away. Suddenly, she realizes she can't move you, and that realization flips polarity. Now she's chasing, she's proving, she's investing. Detachment isn't about games. It's about standing firm in your frame until she adapts to you, not the other way around. The detached man is irresistible because he mirrors abundance back to her. Women want to feel they're with a man other women admire. Your detachment signals confidence, control, and masculinity. Other women notice. They lean in. That quiet attention amplifies your value in her eyes. She feels the competition, and competition makes her invest harder than ever. Another layer is that detachment creates peace. When you're overly attached, the relationship is full of tension. Constant checking, constant reassurance, constant overthinking. But when you detach, the energy shifts. She may resist at first, but eventually she realizes being with you is calmer, steadier, less suffocating. That peace is addictive, and once she feels it, she won't want to let it go. The man who detaches becomes irresistible because he reclaims time. He's not glued to his phone, not waiting for her messages, not obsessing over her every move. He lives, he grows, he thrives. That life outside of her makes her want to be part of it. She realizes she's not your focus, but she desperately wants to be. And that desire flips attraction into obsession. Detachment also filters women. It exposes who's truly interested versus who's only there for attention. Low-value women hate detachment because it starves them of drama. High-value women respect it because it shows strength. Either way, detachment saves you time, and the man who values his time becomes irresistible because he's not handing it to anyone unworthy. The deeper truth is this: detachment is not about cruelty. It's not about ignoring her, punishing her, or playing games. It's about centering yourself so deeply in your own mission, your own worth, and your own frame that you no longer need her approval. That energy is irresistible because it tells her you're whole without her, and women are magnetically drawn to men who are whole. And here's the final truth: men who detach become irresistible because detachment is freedom. Freedom from her moods, freedom from neediness, freedom from insecurity, and freedom is attractive. The man who's free is the man she can't stop thinking about. The man who's free is the one she wants to chase, and the man who's free is the one she will fight to keep, because freedom, confidence, and strength will always pull her back harder than love alone ever could.